to Getting Your Ducks in a Row. This is our 4-episode roundup where we're going to speak with Jason and sort of chew the fat on the episodes and people we've spoken to so far. So, Jay, who are we going to kick off with?
Let's start with Andon. Let's do them in order. Make things a bit easier because you know what I'm like with remembering stuff. Andon. So these are the people that I mentioned in our last roundup, the smart demo guys.
Yes.
So they sort of specialise in demolition, but demolition of buildings within sort of built-up areas. So, you know, not just selling a bit of C4, blowing it up and then watching it all fall down. It's quite intelligent in the way that they do it for obvious reasons. There's a lot of safety and, you know, certain things have to happen in certain ways for it to be done properly. But they were really interesting. They're also quite innovative in the way that they are developing an app or a piece of software that is essentially a bit of an encyclopedia for older structures and buildings. So how do I put it? Information to do with structural integrity, calculations, anything that you would need as part of a sort of from an engineering perspective on older properties and buildings and structures is often on old pieces of paper, right? And shoved away in a library somewhere or whatever in someone's drawer. And what they're doing is they're digitizing all of this information and making it available through a piece of software on all of their projects, which I think is great.
Yeah, no, definitely, because it was Josh and Christian, right? The two guys you spoke to. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of passion that was coming through as well. Like, because if I remember rightly, he started off, you know, quite mid-level or even a junior level in Arden. He's worked his way up to a level that is now.
Well, he's a director.
Director.
Yeah, he's a director now. So yeah, he's had a fantastic career and has sort of risen up the ranks quite quickly, really.
Is he pushing forward some of this innovation?
Yeah. So Christian there is like their digital guy, really. Very intelligent guy, and they've got a clear sort of mandate for how they want to push forward. And Christian is sort of leading that digital side and helping develop the software, etc. I mean, not just the software. They've really sort of taken a charge on the digital stuff. They do stuff like webinars, which was born out of COVID, and that's really gathered some great traction.
Yeah.
And they get a lot of people attending their seminars, information sharing, helping educate people, and obviously, you know, banging the drum for their services. But it's a real sort of slick operation they've got going there, and as I say, they are sort of leading the charge, really, as we know, and as a common theme that we've discovered throughout these podcasts is construction and built environment sometimes can sort of lag behind the curve when it comes to this sort of thing, but the guys at Andon seem to be really pushing that.
Yeah, good. As I mentioned, one of the things that really stood out is that passion and personality that shone through. So definitely worth going to sort of listen to that one and watch that one back 100%. Who was next?
So we had Lizzie Bennett from Blenco next. So they're like a construction contractor, and conversation with Lizzie was insightful about her journey through the industry and what historically has been a male-dominated industry, and her sort of rising up the ranks. She's a COO now, so she's essentially, you know, directing operations there, and listening to her journey through and understanding the sort of potential difficulties for being a female and rising up in the industry was really interesting.
Yeah, and if my memory serves me correct, they're sort of really looking to bring some of the younger people through in that education side of it, right?
Exactly. So Lizzie does a lot with various bodies and works with sort of education bodies to help educate the younger people and about construction, the potential routes in, why it's a career that they perhaps, you know, what the benefits are of it and how varied it is. So there's a lot of kudos there to Lizzie for doing that. I think a lot where that comes from, and I think this is what struck me in our conversation, is because of her journey and because of perhaps some of the difficulties that she experienced. She's now trying to use that knowledge and pass it down to the next generation. And also as well, again, this is a common theme that I think has come up throughout these episodes, is, you know, there is a skills gap, and she's doing her bit to address that as well.
Yeah. Nice. Nice.
Next, we had Theo. Theo Smith, JM Fabrications, great guy. Really, really enjoyed my conversation with Theo. It was we spoke a lot about what JM do and their sort of their service offering and the space they're occupying in the industry. But it was more as we sort of got through the first sort of quarter, third of it, we then started going into sort of life lessons and really that personal journey and your drive and motivation behind doing what you're doing. It was really, really insightful chat with you. I love those types of conversations, and yeah, it really struck a chord.
Yeah, definitely. The ones that sort of go outside of that professional realm, where you sort of really get the personality and the experiences and stuff that they've learned and sharing their learnings and all of that are sometimes the more engaging episodes, especially from my perspective. Like, I can see from watching it back and listening to it that sort of that level you got to with him on that, and it's a really nice watch and one of them ones that you just want to carry on listening to. So no, I really enjoy watching that one and listening to that one through.
It was good. I mean, I think we sort of we hit it off because some of the sort of morals and values that we hold here, in terms of wanting to first and foremost wanting to help and wanting to serve and building something that is more than just generating revenue, something that gives back, provides jobs, that community piece, and as I say, helps people, delivering a service that genuinely returns people, and gives people return on their investment, obviously, but is helping them navigate a difficult world, particularly in construction, where, as I say, perhaps lags behind the curve somewhat, and we just chewing the fat about that and your purpose. And I won't go into too deep now. I mean, if you're into that sort of stuff, go and give it a listen. But yeah, it made for a really good podcast episode.
And what were some of the things that they're like difficulties that they're facing as from a business perspective at the moment?
I think, I mean, still is, they're still fabricators, and that's, I say competitive, but there's a sustainability part to it. They are a relatively new business as well. They've been going for, I think, 4 or 5 years. So they're looking to break into new markets and balancing that. I don't necessarily think this is industry specific necessarily, but balancing that, the say difficulties or challenges that all new businesses go through in your first few years, particularly, looking at revenue, building your team out. Obviously you want to win more work, get more clients through the door to give you more revenue to then build your business. But it's that constant balancing act. And for relatively new businesses, you go through that. And, we spoke about that at length, us being in a similar situation, and growing our business and the difficulties that we had, particularly at the beginning, and the constant battle, I suppose, with revenue.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. But again, as I say, I don't think that's industry specific. I think that applies to all businesses, no matter what you're in.
Yeah, absolutely. And then finally, number 4.
Yes, Brian Murphy, Brian Speckman, very, very interesting guy, extremely intelligent, wealth of knowledge. I called him in our previous catch-up, the sustainability guru, and what he doesn't know about sustainability isn't worth knowing. He's a really interesting guy, very knowledgeable, lots of good ideas. But what I like about Brian is he's not just about the principle and the theory. He's developed software and other tools to allow businesses to become more sustainable and calculate, how sustainable a certain project could be and how it could be improved and the measures that they can put in place to improve it. So it's not just, banging the drum theory. I think this, I think that. He's come up with practical solutions as well, which I really respect.
And he's driving them through the industry, right? He's trying to get them out to the companies that need them the most and the industries and sectors that need them the most.
Exactly that. Exactly. So he's got the green building calculator, which is predominantly aimed at construction and built environment businesses. As we know, we've discussed this, well rehearsed. Construction is very sort of carbon greedy, if you like, just because of the nature of it. And you know, we met at Future Build, right? We met the guy at Future Build, met Brian at Future Build, you know, and that he's there doing the rounds, he's speaking, he's banging the drum for what he believes in, and it is something the industry needs. So yeah, it's a great conversation, and if sustainability and delving into that and stripping back the sort of the first layer of it that we all know, you know, that's all well rehearsed. If you want to get into that sort of stuff, and hear a bit of a rant as well, if you like a good rant, that would definitely be an episode for you to listen to.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, that's our 4. That's us done for today, unless there's anything else worth mentioning.
No, I think we've got, again, more interesting, great guests coming up across the sector. We're looking at, we've got property developers, civil engineers, a real raft of specialisms coming up over the next few weeks, months, really. So, yeah, stay tuned.
Stay tuned. And if you want to get in contact with us to be on any of the future episodes, reach out. If there's anything in particular that you would like to hear, or people that you would like to see us speak to, then also reach out. We'll be more than happy to sort of communicate and facilitate some of that stuff.
Thanks, guys.
Take care.